Hello everybody, I'm Alicia, author of the new book, Don't Be a Stranger, Creating Connections and Memorable First Impressions in Everyday Life. I am a psychologist. I also have a skincare business, and I recently wrote this book because I felt like there's a lot that I've seen, both in my personal life and in my professional life, around fear. Fear of talking to strangers, fear of interacting simply with people that we don't know, fear and anxiety when entering situations that we're uncomfortable in or that are unfamiliar. And yet I see strangers and new experiences as fertile territory for just meeting incredible people I wouldn't meet otherwise, for building relationships with folks I would never have interactions with if not for those novel situations, right? And if I just stayed in my bubble in life, if I just interacted with the small group of people that I grew up with or that kind of live in my own little vicinity, I would have been robbed of so many incredible relationships and experiences and simply momentary memories in my life that I will cherish for years to come. So with that, I'm just going to do a few occasional readings from various chapters in the book in hopes that some of the tools that I've laid out will help somebody watching. If you're interested, the book is on Amazon, and I'm also looking to get it published soon on Ingram Spark. I haven't done that yet. So if you're looking for it now, it's $9.99 on Amazon, super cheap. I wanted to make it really accessible to anybody who might be interested, whether you're a student preparing for interviews or jobs, whether you're a professional or somebody in the business world, or whether you're looking to learn how to flirt better and learn how to talk to more people and simply widen your bubble, or simply if you're just somebody who wants to have more fun in moments in life, you know, whether you ever see a person again or not is irrelevant to you. This is still a book that I think could help you do that. Okay, so this reading comes out of chapter 2 on first impressions. I sometimes have people in my life feel they can't relate to me because they believe talking to strangers comes so easily to me. It may feel natural now, but it didn't always. Don't get me wrong, I've always loved interactions with strangers. I love talking to people who were within an arm's reach and who sparked a conversation with me. Hence, the plumber, a server, an electrician, and our neighbors on an airplanes who politely yet naively said hello, not realizing what they were getting themselves into for the next few hours. Notice these were mostly people paid or otherwise obliged to be nice to me, so they seemed safer. My life changed most dramatically when I took control and began going out of my way to cultivate more memories and conversations with strangers. Few who know me today believe that I grew up painfully shy. In my youth, I was afraid of what others would think of me if I said or did something foolish. I seldom went anywhere alone. I avoided walking up to people or chatting them up if I did. I was the child hiding behind my mom. I took hours to warm up to the same group of friends at family events each weekend. I was the person who would look for the first place to sit when entering a crowded room, wanting to shrink and be anything but noticed. It's hard to even remember myself that way. You can imagine those patterns didn't leave me making great first impressions, let alone lasting ones. I never felt like I fit in. Everyone always seemed cooler, smoother, and funner, and yes, I made that up. As a budding adult going through graduate school and work, I started to find my voice. I have evolved into the me that people know today as I've made doing so fun. How I owned my power in creating first impressions changed in 2008 when a friend from elementary school invited me to a concert. The concert was loud, crowded, and upbeat. Everyone was waving their arms and jumping around with joy. I was in awe. I loved it and was breathing it all in. I was stunned when my friend leaned in and asked if I was bored. He assumed I wasn't having a good time because I wasn't smiling. I had RBF. I didn't even know what RBF was. For those who don't know what RBF stands for, it's resting bitch face. Forgive my language, but it's a very real thing that men and women alike suffer from. RBF is commonly defined as a facial expression that unintentionally or intentionally appears displeased, unfriendly, annoyed, bored, frustrated, angry, or any other negative feeling, even when a person is simply feeling relaxed, neutral, or contemplative. I had no idea my face lived there when I was nervous, shy, or simply felt out of my element. The funny thing is my face now is anything but that most days. My face is now one of the most expressive faces I know, but I had to train it to be that way. When I teach, I instruct my students to reflect on their resting facial expressions and to rule out RBF because of the impact it can have on patient care. Whether patients feel liked by their provider affects whether they return for treatment and comply with recommendations. Thus, training facial expressions to be inviting and pleasant can be career altering, and I would say life altering. I ask the same of you. I encourage my students to ask family and friends for feedback on how they present, and I ask the same of you. I suggest giving permission that whoever you ask deliver feedback honestly yet respectfully and constructively with suggestions for how you present in first impressions. Also ask their opinion on slight tweaks like altering of eye contact, a head nod, or a smile that they believe might make a difference in how you present. Caution, please use judgment in who you ask. I don't recommend you ask a person known to be caustic, critical, or hurtful. Ask someone who might give feedback in a kind and productive manner. I can imagine readers might have a knee-jerk reaction and say, live and let live, that's just my face. But if you knew your face might constantly rob you of positive attention and life experiences, and a simple smile, the raise of an eyebrow, or slight modification of the muscles around your mouth practiced over time could significantly change the trajectory of your relationships, would you feel differently? I certainly did, and my life completely changed after that concert. So then I go on and I offer examples of how I changed and the subtle changes that I made to just simply my resting facial expression. So with or without words, this book talks about tools that you can use verbally and non-verbally to not only initiate and engage people differently, but also simply to make yourself a more welcoming receptacle for attention from others, positive attention, so that you can welcome more interactions into your personal bubble. So I hope that you enjoyed this reading. I hope that you'll come back and see me. And I certainly hope you'll check out my book on Amazon. Again, it's called Don't Be a Stranger, Creating Connections and Memorable First Impressions in Everyday Life. Thanks for hopping on with me. Bye, everybody.